right, let's talk about metabolism, specifically metabolic adaptation syndrome, and why it may be affecting you, and how to combat its effects and get yourself back on track if you're having trouble in the weight loss category. So, first, your metabolism, right? Your body requires a certain amount of calories to run itself daily. Now, we call that BMR, and that would be just what your body needs at rest. So, if you're just, let's say, all you do is nothing, you don't move, you're just laying there stiff, right? No, you're laying there, you're like a lump, and you do nothing, no exercise, no non-exercise activity like gardening or washing your car or anything like that. You just sit there and you don't move. Your body requires a certain amount of calories based on your weight, based on your height, based on your gender, and based on your activity level, which we said if it's nothing, then it's fine. BMR is the base metabolic rate, the base amount of calories you need just to run yourself. Now we go into the total daily energy requirements that your body needs, and that would be the total amount of calories needed based on other factors such as the thermic effect from food or eating that the food you eat requires a certain amount of energy to break it down. That's why people say, oh, you should eat more protein, because it requires a little bit more energy to break down protein than carbohydrates. And it's very, very minuscule though, so don't geek out on that too hard. The non-exercise activity thermogenesis, also known as NEAT, you'll hear that a lot. And that's just what you do during the day: cutting the grass, washing the car, vacuuming the house, dusting, things like that. And then there's, of course, your formal exercise activity, getting out there and getting it done, right? Working those muscles, working that cardiovascular. That requires a lot more energy. And then when you factor all those things in, your body says, okay, I only need, this is an example, I only need 1,800 to keep myself alive during the day, but I need about 2,400 when you figure in all the exercise and activity I have to run myself at maintenance level. That means maintaining the body weight you are currently at. So what we do is when we want to lose weight, we say, okay, let's drop down into a deficit. So if 2,400 is our maintenance calories, let's take it down somewhere about 500 less a day, down to 1,900. That way it's not too difficult to maintain that. It's not too uncomfortable for us. We're not starving to death, but we are at a deficit, and we will see some weight start to drop. About 3,500 calorie deficit a week equals a pound of body weight. Remember, these are all estimates. It's never 100% exact, but 3,500 calories is generally a pound of body weight. So figured out that over the week, being that deficit, you should see the scale start to drop. But then we have a thing called metabolic adaptation syndrome, and that's what I wanted to get into. So sometimes when the body starts to lose size, lose mass, it requires less energy to run itself. And now you have to recalculate. So as you drop down, say you're 205 pounds and then you drop down to 195. Well, that 195 pound you needs less energy because it has less mass. So now you have to refigure or recalculate the amount of calories you need, or you've got to jack up your activity level. You got to bring it up higher so that you can still enjoy eating the same amount of calories. Now, if you're in a constant restricted caloric consumption or deficit, you're consuming less calories than you need, and you do it for a long period of time, your body can adapt, and it probably will adapt. You'll be at a plateau. You'll notice no weight loss. You might end up even noticing a little bit of gain. And you'll be thinking, well, how is this possible? I'm not eating anything more than what I need. But your body has gone, oh, I'm not going to get any more calories. So let me go ahead and make sure that I know I'm only getting this amount. That's all I'm going to use. So it starts going, okay, I'm in the starvation mode. They call it starvation mode. Adaptation syndrome, starvation mode. You'll see that used interchangeably. So your body holds on to everything. It says, I'm not going to burn it. And so you get stuck. And you'll see some people that are in the obesity category that maybe don't really eat as much as you would think they do, but their body has learned to limit itself and stay on just the smaller amount of calories, even though their body technically requires more to run itself. And you think, oh, great. Why can't it be the other way, right? Why can't my body adapt to knowing I want to eat out, or, eat like a pig all day, go out to dinner and stuff like that, and keep me small? And just say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the rest of those. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. That'd be nice though, wouldn't it? Instead, we end up getting bigger. So what you need to do to combat this metabolic adaptation syndrome is you need to start playing around a little bit with your calories. First of all, have regular meals. So if your body's adapting to things, now we got to shake it up. Let's have those meals every 3 to 4 hours. Let's do that. Set an alarm. Eat your meals, space your calories out. This is where you need to know your total daily energy requirements. So break that down, divide it into, let's say, 4 meals. Break it down, the calories, so each meal has a certain amount. Let's say 400 calories, 500 calories. Break it down like that. So, and then also prioritize your protein in those. Aim for like 30 to 40 grams of protein, depending on how much you weigh. So no more than about a gram per pound of body weight. If you're sedentary, you require a lot less. I'd say only aim for about a half a gram per pound of body weight max. The RDA for that right now is 0.8 for a kilogram. So kind of use that as your guide. So it's safe to say about a half a gram per pound for people that are sedentary. People that are active, weight trainers, things like that, you can go a gram per pound of body weight to about 1.2 is probably a good area for you. And then, so we've got those meals every 3 to 4 hours. We also need to jump up the activity and start playing with that. And then we also need to do days where we go high calorie and low calorie. That way your body never knows how many calories it's getting, but it does know it's getting fuel every 3 to 4 hours. But it might get some days you may be in a deficit. Some days you might go into a surplus. Some days you may be right at maintenance. You play with that. And you also need to be patient because you didn't get into this adaptation syndrome overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It's usually seen with people who have been habitual dieters. They always diet because that's the thing they think is the way to get down. And then they get stuck in a plateau and they wonder why they're not losing any weight. So you need to play with the calories. Trick your body, right? Trick your metabolism. Let it think, oh, today I'm getting less, tomorrow I'm getting more. It won't know what's coming, but it knows it's getting energy and it knows it's getting the right amounts so that it can start to come out of this adaptation syndrome, and then you can start to break that barrier and get back down to your weight loss goals. So get sleep. Sleep is a priority too. All the other good habits, you need to have those. Stay away from the processed foods, eat the whole foods, and you will see that you can break this barrier, this metabolic adaptation syndrome. You can bust it. You can get through it and you can improve. Give those things a shot. If you have questions about it, hit me up. I'm a nutrition coach. I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a physician. I am here for your information, to give you some information and advice if you need it, but I'm never going to plan your meals for you. So don't ask me to do that. Okay. I'm not doing that for you, but I will help you if you want to plan them. Let me know. All right. Like and subscribe, you guys. I'll talk to you next time.